part, and I'd say that one of the biggest parts about school is learning to work hard and have a mindset that, so
why did you choose to be a sub?
I think I've gone over this, but I'll go over it again. I started helping in your guys' classroom, well, in your classroom first, because you're the oldest. And I'd come in and read with you guys. I did the art docent program, so I would teach art at certain times of the year. And then I decided that I liked it, so why not get paid to do it? And really the only way to get paid to do it and not have to do it every day, because I didn't want to do it every day, because life is busy, was to sub. So fortunately I have my bachelor's degree, which is a requirement, and so I went and took the test I needed to take, got all the background checks, got my sub permit, and I've been doing it ever since. Another reason I did it, though, because one of the reasons why I was coming to your school was to check on you, because you were getting in trouble at school all the time when you were little. Behavior problems, stuff like that. So, and then your brothers, at one point or another, they both struggled as well. So, I don't like not knowing what's going on in school. And a good way to know what's going on in school is to be there. So I got paid to be there and know how things were going. So I subbed mostly at the elementary school to start, and then the middle school, and then the high school, and now I've subbed everything from TK to 12th grade.
Okay.
Well, okay, so as far as kids go, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're meaning, but you do have like a, let's put it this way, there's nothing I'm surprised by. So, for example, you have the kids that are like really stressed out about their grades, I mean, even at a young age, who are like really quiet and like almost sitting there in fear. And then you have kids who are outgoing, and you have kids who are very, they push back, meaning like you ask them to do something and they're like, why? Or they argue with you. Then you have the kids who are bossy and try and run the classroom. It's a whole myriad of things, but I don't really know how to answer that unless you can be more specific. That's a very broad question. But I mean, it's nothing surprising. There's always going to be what you expect. As far and everyone has different tolerances for that stuff. And as I've gotten older and maybe more mature in some ways, I have less patience for certain things. So yeah.
What has being a substitute teacher taught you?
A lot more patience. You take the guest coffee. Patience. I had patience. I feel like I've been a patient. I'm not fumbling with my coffee. I'm drinking. Keep my hands warm.
I don't care.
I can hold my coffee if I want to.
Then do it away from the mic.
Thank you. Better?
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of patience. I've also learned what is important about school and what's not important about school.
What do you mean by that? What's important?
What's important and what's not important.
What's important?
What is important is to learn to work hard. There are people who are the exception to the rule, who go through all of school never working hard and who don't graduate at all. Like they've wasted all those years. And then later in life they go, oh, I guess I should have paid attention. They go back and get their GED, and then they go to college.
Don't you think that's part of the school's fault for not informing them properly? Because they don't tell you how you're going to use this shit. It's just like, learn this, and they'll tell you, they don't give you the why.
So I didn't finish.
Okay, go.
So a lot of common things, it's like what you said, like, am I ever going to use this, Mrs. Kowalski? Like you don't use this, do you? It's not necessary. Some of this stuff, yes, depending on what you do with your life, is very important and very useful. Yes, you may never use trigonometry again. Okay, that's possible. Does your dad? Absolutely, he does. He uses it every day at work because he has to work with metal and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like...
Can I just finish talking?
Yep, continue.
Okay. But regardless of the subject and the what is being taught, and I'd say that one of the biggest parts about school is learning to work hard and have a mindset that... So, school is not fun. Not all of it. Some of it is. Getting up in the morning, going to do something that you don't necessarily feel is important to you, and working hard at it and doing your best at it. So you've talked a lot about mindset.
No, but let me add my input.
Thanks for cutting.
I feel like kids would be confident, would be okay with working hard at something. They obviously do, but...
They do? All of them do?
All of them. They just need a reason. No one's giving them a reason to work hard in school besides their parents.
There are some kids who have no reason to be there other than to hang out with their friends. Their parents don't motivate them. They aren't motivated. They see no point in being there, and they make it very clear to you that they see no point in being there. Mm-hmm. So what I just said was it builds mental toughness to be able to go and do something that you don't want to do every stinking day. No. If you, like I said, if you can do the hard things now, it'll be easier later.
Yeah, but they have no reason behind what they're doing.
That's the reason.
No.
To me, it is. 100%.
Are you going to go do something like that's completely random without even knowing it's going to do anything for you? Like, go stand on the yard for 10 hours a day, and you have no reason to do it. You have no reason backed behind that for doing it. So, just say, do it. Because I said so. Like, no. That's not how it's
I feel like we're agreeing to... I'm going to have to agree to disagree, because you're not hearing me.
You're not hearing me. I had the headphones on. I can hear you perfectly fine.
That's not what I mean. You can hear the words, but might maybe not understand the point.
The reason you do something hard is because you know it's going to benefit you. If you do something that's hard without it remotely benefiting you, then there's no point. It's like...
It is benefiting you.
Like, hold your hand over a fucking candle, because that's going to help you.
Okay, so let me ask you then.
No benefit.
Let me ask you. Do you see no benefit in going to school?
I don't see it because no one's told me.
I'm trying to tell you.
I see kind of benefit, but not everybody does. That's what I'm getting at.
I get that they don't all see the benefit. I'm trying to explain one of the benefits. At the very least, the ability to get up and go to school and behave, like be a normal, like productive human being, the very least, that is benefiting you. Because it's building a sense of like mental toughness that you are going to need after you grow up, after you're done being this child who is revolting against everything and everyone. If you can get up every day and go to school and put forth some effort, some level of effort, even though you don't want to, that's building mental toughness at the very least. That being said, you do learn things in school. There are things that you need to learn to be successful in life. And if you're actually showing up and doing the work, you should absorb some of it. Okay? And I guarantee that I did not teach myself anything. When I was going through school, I had to put the work into it, but that I was taught by someone. Okay? I didn't know I didn't understand grammar. I had to be taught grammar. I had to be taught how to read, right? How to read, how to write, how to spell. By the way, work on your spelling. Your spelling is not great. So that's something you need to work on. I struggled in math for a long, long time. I didn't have good teachers, but I still worked at it. Sometimes I cried through it. All right? You're not always going to be dealt the best hand when it comes to the school you're going to, the teachers you have. But I'm saying if it feels like a complete wash, just getting up in the morning and going there and putting forth your best effort is going to benefit you. Whether you believe me or not, it's the truth. It went for college as well, because I didn't even want to go to college. And I'm glad I did. Because one of the parts about college is that you end up learning how to go through the hoops. All these hoops you have to go through, which is like paperwork wise. And during my day, you had to go stand in long lines. It was like all the bureaucracy. You had to go figure out, pay for this, or get the right books, or like it was a pain in the butt sometimes. I don't know how it is now. It could be better. I bet you a lot more stuff is online. There's not so much standing in line. There's not so much worrying about getting the right textbooks because they're now all out of stock at all the bookstores that you go to. I mean, I learned a lot. Definitely mental fortitude, definitely going through all those hoops that they make you go through in life. It makes you tough. It makes you go, okay, this is not the end of the world. And I feel like, I mean, I don't want to judge everyone, but from what I can see, we have a whole generation of people who are weak-minded coming up right now, who don't want to try hard. They have this simple task that's given to them, and they're not even trying. They're going to do anything and everything they can not to do their work. And I'm like, okay, well, I really hope that you have a solid plan for the future, because from what I can see right now, you don't have a future. If you cannot manage to sit here and complete this like silly little worksheet that's basically we gave you the answers to, and you just need to write them in, then what are you hoping to accomplish in this life? That's just my take.
I feel like you're getting the wrong picture.
Okay, explain to me what you think. What do you think? What am I getting wrong? It's what I see every day. There are people who do work hard, plenty of them, but I'd say at least 50% are not.
Because everyone wants the best for themselves. And
you think so?
Yeah.
I think that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it is. Everyone acts for themselves. And everyone wants the best for themselves. So if they had a reason to learn, if they knew exactly what the point of learning was, they'd be more inclined to do it. Because, like, at math class, I have plenty of kids come to me and, like, what's the point of even learning this? I'm literally going to forget it by next quarter. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to use this in my future if I'm, like, not even going to use this math. And, like, there's just no feedback to it. There's no... It gives them no reason to continue. They're not seeing results. They don't see the point of it.
So do you think it would be helpful if we made the schoolwork more applicable to adult life?
It's like deconstructing the engine, you know? Mm-hmm. They're like, just do it. You know, you need the reason to. Like, what do you have to do first? You have to grab this tool. What's it going to do?
But why? You're talking about the why.
The why?
The why to do it. The usefulness of it.
So they have a motive?
No, I know, but that's I'm saying. Just clarifying. That's what you're speaking of right now. Is that people we need to. So, for example, last week in 6th grade, they were learning how to get the area of a complex shape. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when am I going to use that?
Oh, we definitely would use that. I mean, I've used that. Dad uses that.
When am I going to use that as a lawyer?
Are you going to be a lawyer? You never know what kind of lawyer you're going to be. Are you someone who deals with, like, construction of buildings, building codes? Or how about someone who deals with, like land law? I don't know what the word is for that. But I'm saying, like, simple things, you should be able to take a complex shape and get the area of it. So our yard is not a perfect rectangle or a perfect square, right? So it's going to be a complex shape. How do you break that shape down and get the area? You know, you have to understand what are the important lengths that I need in order to get this answer. It is applicable, but not just that. Like I say to the students, and I've said this often, is that so certain things like math is probably the one you hear the most, where kids are like, "Oh, I'm just not good at math," right? I'm just not good at math. I'm like, well, I totally feel you, because I would have said the same thing at your age, but as time has gone on, I realized that it's a matter of problem solving. So having that mental fortitude, that strength to just try and solve the problem. When you just try and solve the problem, you're building these like neural pathways in your brain. You're building a stronger mind. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't get it right, you tried. And putting forth that effort is building strength of mind, right? Just like when you go work out. Maybe it's not the best workout you've ever had, but you're still getting somewhere, right? So instead of focusing on, did I get it right? Focus on putting forth effort. When you put forth that effort, you'll see rewards, whether you get the question right or wrong. And to be fair, getting it wrong is not the end of the world, because that's sometimes what is required in order to learn. We have to learn from our mistakes. I feel like most of us learn the hard way, through failure. But ideally, if we're trying hard enough, failure will not be something that happens as often.
Okay. Do you think school technically makes people, like, it doesn't allow them to think for themselves?
No, I don't think that's true. Obviously, they're all thinking for themselves.
Like, it just makes people who are going to work jobs, they don't offer them.
Oh, I get what you're getting at. Okay,
It makes loyal factory workers
there we go.
For their employers.
I go back and forth on that one. I can see what you're saying. I hear a lot about indoctrination. That's what schools are for. So people who don't put their kids in school and they homeschool them, they may have a wonderful life ahead of them. And I was homeschooled until 6th grade. Actually, yeah, 6th grade is the first time I ever went to any kind of school. It was a private school. And then I went to a public, it was a Department of Defense school for my freshman year. And then all the way through my junior year, and then my senior year I had to come back and
like I
go
see
to private school again.
I see school as like making people slaves, like so they can work for an employer instead of becoming the employer. Like,
you think it's like trying to like break them, like break them
to
down?
Keep them, it's like the Matrix, trying to keep them inside the Matrix instead of becoming like an entrepreneur. Because you go to school for a while, you have no real skills for any of the other stuff. You go to college and you get in a bunch of debt. And then you have to work a job to pay off that debt, which keeps you in the job, and you can't think for yourself, and you're stuck that way.
That's one path, right? Just that doesn't mean that's where people are headed. So let me answer that with another. Let me say something. So let me put it to you this way. That's kind of like that statement, I feel like, it applies to people who have more. So think of it this way. Think of a population where they don't have the support system they need at home, right? They may not even have clean clothes. They might not even have enough food to eat, or appropriate shelter to sleep in. Think of that population, because they exist, and there's a good amount of them. Think if we didn't have any kind of public school system at all. No way to educate. Nowhere for these people to go. Because the other side of the coin is that I have met and continue to meet plenty of people where the only place they go that has food, that has, the heat is on, it's a warm building, there's clean water for them to drink, is school. And when these kids come to school, they are happy, and when they go home, they are not. When we leave, we go on break for 2 whole weeks. I bet they don't get a lot of the things that they normally do, because we give them 3 whole meals a day for free at school, right? We give them an education. We give them social skills. We do fun things. We do art. We have clubs you can join. We try to make it fun. But at the end of the day, we still have like measures. We have like things. We have goals. We want you to be able to understand and learn these things. And we're trying to help you. You can say that we're just trying to create people into tiny little cogs in a big machine, right? Mm-hmm. You can say we're trying to indoctrinate them and teach them things. And I've heard, I can't speak for the whole world because I work in this teeny tiny school district. But from what I can see in this teeny tiny school district, I don't see anything other than us trying to support the families and the kids in our community and doing the best we can to do so. I can't speak for LA school district or anywhere else in this United States because I haven't worked anywhere else. So maybe it's different there. But here I have not experienced that. It's like a very loving community of people who open their arms to anyone and everyone. And literally, like, there were kids who couldn't get a ride, couldn't get to the bus to get to school because they lived down a dirt road where the bus didn't go. and their parents didn't have a vehicle. So what do? I won't say his name, but a wonderful human being, got a van which seats 12 people, drove all the way down their dirt road every morning, all school year long, to get those kids and take them to school. So we're making a way so that no one has to miss out. It's kind of like trying to give everyone an equal start in life, because it's not true. We don't all have an equal start in life. Some of us have more than others. But at the very least, we can give them all access to education. And you can, with that education, hopefully accomplish things in your life. You guys have freedom. No one's telling you to go work for a factory. No one is saying, hey, this is what you have to do when you leave high school. You have the freedom to do what you want once you leave. And even while you're there, plenty of people just don't show up. Plenty of people don't do their work. Plenty of people make the choices they're going to make. So you can say we're trying to create this whole system, but imagine a world without it. Do you have a solution to that? Do you have an alternative to public school?
No. Well,
what do you think we should do?
The thing is, it's just like some people escape the public school matrix and some others don't. Because there has to be a school to make factory workers for the employers. Some people get through the system, like leak through the filter.
I would say that the people who graduate high school are not going into those factories. It's the people who dropped out. They are going to those factories because they're called unskilled laborers. They don't have an education. They don't have skills. So let's put them on an assembly line and pay a minimum wage. If you have an education and you have high grades, you're likely going to go far. You are, whether you go to college or not. You could join a trade school. You could start your own business, become a contractor. You could have your own YouTube channel. I don't care. But the point is if you don't have these basic skills, because at your age it's hard to see, but elementary school, high school is easy. It's so easy. I could go back and kill it right now because a part of it is you're immature. So you lack that mental strength and that mental maturity during this time. So it looks that way to you maybe. But no one's seeking to like screw you over. No one's seeking to throw you into the machine that you call,
Well, I'll ask you this question.
Okay.
How come some people can afford to drive Lamborghinis and be super rich, while others don't, and they have mortgage and
But there's
kids?
a lot of so there's no. So generational wealth, ever heard of that?
Well, some people come from nothing and then build themselves up.
True, they do. Some
We're
people
not
do.
focusing on
How many are there?
wealth.
How many? Because I'm looking at, we can look at the celebrities, we can look at the people who've made it and done really well financially speaking. And if that's your measure for success, then that's your measure. But if you ask them, ask some of the most wealthy, level-headed human beings. I say level-headed because there's plenty of pretty crazy folks out there in the world. But if you were to ask some of them, say Jim Carrey, who's a very popular actor, I'm just thinking of him because he does a lot of speeches on this topic, on what is important in life. So these people who have money, they have what you would call success. They will tell you, people who have money and success, okay, if they live long enough and have experienced enough, their measure of success is not the same as what you are describing. And like I go back to my original point was, look at the percentage of people who are going in that direction to be awesome, like incredibly wealthy human beings.
Yeah.
There's very few, right? They ask them, did they go to school? Yeah. They went to school.
Why do you think that is, that very few are going for that?
I think you've already answered that question before.
Because there's to be people at the bottom, so only a few can.
And not all of us have the mental fortitude to get there.
You think money doesn't bring you happiness?
It brings you security, freedom.
It gives you freedom. So you don't have
But
to
not
work
happiness.
for somebody you hate. Like,
But then there's the fear of losing all that money too.
No.
No.
If you're actually...
That's always a possibility.
How? How would you lose a bunch of money?
You're going down a different road. It's very possible.
Like what?
Poor financial decisions.
If you're smart with your money, that
in our world, you could get canceled. Say the wrong thing.
Andrew Tate got canceled, and he says a bunch of bad things.
You just love Andrew Tate, don't you?
He's agreeable.
He's agreeable?
He's very genuine. That's what everyone likes about him. He doesn't make up shit.
I feel like all he does is yell.
Because he
yells at the...
His assets are secure, so he has freedom to say whatever he wants. He's not going to get fired from his job because he said something the media hates. He's running his own show.
I'm not saying... What is it you want me to say? Because I'm not like saying that's not... If that's what you want, go for it.
What?
The dogs are barking. Stand by.
I'm just trying to say spit some facts.
Well, yeah, but that's not true. It's just an opinion. I mean,
Speak louder.
That's an opinion.
Louder.
I'm not gonna yell.
I don't care. You have to yell on my podcast if you're gonna stand that way from the mic.
How about now?
Louder.
Maybe you need to fix your mic.
Nope.
Hello.
Not that close. That's ASMR close. The closer you are to the mic, the sexier you sound.
Alright, moving on. Moving on. There's so many variables, Wyatt, that you can't...
What?
I feel like you're trying to say the public school system is evil, when I don't think it is. I think it serves a purpose. And just like anything, it's how you use it. It's not... The entity itself is not the problem.
Well, there's no real solution to public school system because people are just going to have to find their own ways if they wanted something different from what they're being directed towards for a school. The school's going to push you in a certain direction, mm-hmm. and some people are going to follow and some others won't. What I was trying to get at was, you think money doesn't bring you happiness. You think people say, I don't need money, it's useless, money's dirty or some shit.
I don't say that.
And then they
money's not dirty.
The government tries to control you with money. You're a slave to the government because you can't think for yourself if you're being paid by them. They manage everything you do.
So you're saying if you're a government employee? Because I agree with you on that.
The way the government is run.
The way the government is run. What should be changed about it?
No, nothing can be changed. I'm just saying.
Nothing can be changed?
I'm just saying how...
Things can be changed.
No.
Oh, no? They can't?
That's the way... What's it called? Capitalism works.
Mm.
So, they can't really change the system. It's always going to be like that. But I'm just telling people how it's run so they can make their own decision.
You know how it's run? You understand government? Have you taken a class in
So
government yet?
I understand what it...
You've done your own research? You know the branches of government?
I don't need to know the branches.
What's the Bill of Rights?
That's the nerdy shit.
Oh, you sure about that?
Yes.
You don't know your own rights. You don't know the rules that govern this country. And yet you speak about it as if you understand it.
Yeah.
So, we take U.S. government in high school. I did, at least. It's a requirement. You haven't taken it yet, but you're a sophomore, so... All right. What else?
Okay, so you like money.
We all like money.
What about money?
Because when you don't have it, it's a definite problem.
Yep.
Yep. We all need it to survive. I wish it was maybe different, but...
What would you do if money wasn't a problem for you? How would your actions change?
Oh, well, if we didn't have to worry about money, then... Because right now, what do we need it for? Food.
Paying for shit, buying things.
Food, clothing, shelter.
And
we have bills to pay.
Getting money takes up most of your life, so you can't really... It'll give you your time back.
Well, the hope is that when you go to whatever it is that's paying you, that it's something you enjoy.
No one enjoys their job. Let's be honest.
No one?
No, that's why it's
That's
a job.
a very blanket statement.
If you enjoyed your job, it wouldn't be a job.
So, I guess, so you're saying if I make money at something and
if you're making money
and I enjoy it, then it's not a job?
If you don't have to be paid to do it. If you're doing it for the money, you're not going to enjoy it. You can do this to anything. Like, if you're a professional artist, you're not going to necessarily enjoy doing art as much if you're getting paid for it versus just doing it for yourself. You have the freedom of choice. If you wanted to just quit it, you could.
Okay, so paint me a reality where I have money and I don't have to work.
Well, you don't have to work.
Show me, what does that look like?
You do whatever you want.
Show me, how do I have the money? Where'd the money come from?
Money? You struck it big and you got a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
You made your own business or something to where you don't have to work another day in your life.
Okay.
Your money isn't controlled by some boss. You can't get your money taken away from you.
Okay. So what is your question about this?
You're completely free.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do with your time?
Me personally?
If you had all the money.
I've never thought about that.
That's because,
Because that's not
because your whole life is about getting money. Your whole life is managed by money.
Well, let's put it this way. Okay, your dad is set to retire in 11 years.
Yep.
Okay? At that point, he will not be at work. You will not go to work. But we will have money coming to us. We will have health insurance. But we'll still have some bills. The idea is by then, so we set it up. Our world is we set up this house that we live in right now should be paid off by the time he retires. So we won't have a mortgage payment. That being said, you still have to pay for water, electricity, even though we have solar panels. That I don't want to get into that. Water, electricity, we don't have to pay sewer because we have septic, but we still have to pay trash. So those things will still continue. I will still have to go buy food. I will still need clothing because my clothing will wear out. Okay? But we will have an income without having to go to work. So when that time comes, that's a good question. What will we do? We haven't really thought about that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we will think more on it in the years to come. But that's 11 years from now. So I don't know yet. I mean, Dad has mentioned some things like it would be nice to have, we both like to have some nice mountain bikes so we can go mountain biking. We might decide to travel more. But I mean,
continue.
The house, we'd like to redo this house, like get it fixed up on the inside, because we have not done that. We have more time for ourselves, basically, to do the things that we enjoy.
And what do you enjoy doing?
Well, obviously we like being outside, so mountain biking is part of that. Road biking, I like road biking too. Easily I can just go running, that's not a big deal. But I do enjoy, I like my hobbies. I like painting. Dad has some creative hobbies as well. He likes woodworking. If we decide to keep doing the honeybees, we could focus more on the honeybees at that time. So maybe expand that business, because we're going to be young. If you think about how old I'm going to be in 11 years. So I'll be 50. I mean, that sounds old, but I don't think it is. Like, we could start a whole new business if we wanted to. Because the thing is, Wyatt, there's plenty of people who work every single day of their life, then they retire, and they're like, oh, I want to work. Because it gives you purpose. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning. So, when you have nothing to do, it's kind of a weird place to be when you've been going your whole life. So, I mean, who knows what we're going to do? I don't know. Maybe we'll start a YouTube channel.
Well, the difference between working once you're done and you're retired and working is that you have freedom of choice over what you work on.
We might want to make more money.
Because
making money is fun.
You'll
sometimes.
just work on what gets you money and what pays the bills versus what you enjoy doing for work. Like, for example, Lex Friedman, he is financially independent. He doesn't have to worry about money necessarily. He gets to work on what he enjoys versus somebody who is forced to work at like 7-Eleven.
True.
There's a difference there.
Well, he's not forced to work there.
He loves his job. He loves doing podcasts. He doesn't do the podcast for the money. He does it because he's just genuinely interested in learning from people.
Then that would be essentially what I would be doing.
That's the difference between the average worker and...
Yes, so we'd be doing things that we want to do on our own time frame, on our own schedule, because we would have the freedom and the financial freedom as well to do those things. But my health and Dad's health was very important to us because, like I've said before, I want to grow old, but I only want to be healthy. I don't want to grow old and be like bedridden. I want to be 80 years old and still able to ride my bike and not worry about breaking my hip, if that's possible. So taking care of ourselves, our own health, is very important to us. Is that me or you? You think this coffee would work? I don't know why I'm so tired today. I've been tired lately.
Well, the thing with coffee is that you just drink it to feel normal. You're not drinking it because it's going to give you more energy.
Sometimes it does.
If you were to quit
I was hoping it would get rid of my yawning.
How would you feel if you were to quit coffee right now?
I've done it before. I could do it again.
You'd feel... Because it's like smoking. You just have it to feel normal. You're like, your baseline's lower. That's how...
Well, I usually have 1 cup a day. This is my second.
You feel tired if you don't have coffee?
Not necessarily. I've gone days without it. Just fine. I'm not one of those people that drinks a ton of caffeine. Well, I wanted to go work out, and we don't have any pre-workout, and I like that little extra kick. So I made myself coffee because I'm a little bit tired.
Okay. Next topic on the agenda will be... We'll talk about... What should we talk about? We'll talk about... What do you think?
Being a mom. Sure. Very exciting stuff. You've crossed that out enough times.
What made you want to be a mom?
I never planned to be a mom.
Then how come you are one? You obviously had to want it.
Yes, I did. I wanted you.
Unplanned pregnancy.
True. Most are.
Yep.
Most are. Well, yeah, I chose you. Obviously, you're here. What happened? It's really hard to remember.
You can't choose.
Yes, you can.
I don't think people choose to have a baby.
Yeah, you could have an abortion, honey. That's a choice. Women's rights. At least it is for now. You ever heard of Plan B?
Women have rights? Continue.
You ever heard of Plan B? You know what that is? What is Plan B?
I don't know. What?
Our neighbor's taking our bobcat. Plan B is you get one past the goalie.
What's that?
Let's say you're making love with some girl and the condom breaks.
Yep.
There's Plan B. Plan B is a medication. It's a pill that the girl can take, and it forces a period to start.
Okay.
So that you can't get pregnant. But you have to do it within a certain time frame after intercourse. So you can take that. You take it quite often. And that will prevent pregnancy. Now let's say you don't take Plan B. Too much time goes on. Next choice, if you don't want that pregnancy, is an abortion. And there's different varying degrees of abortion. So my point being is, if you carry a child for all 9 months, you plan on having that baby. Unless you're one of those people that goes, I didn't know I was pregnant. I don't believe that. I don't know how you can go that long.
Just big boned.
No period for 9 months. There's so many symptoms too. You had no symptoms the whole time. I mean, you feel the child moving in there, and it's undeniable. They kick and they punch. It's yeah. I think it's impossible not to know you're pregnant. But yeah, I know I chose you. So what made me want to become a mom? Well, I guess the first part would be why not?
Well, the bills, the responsibility, the freedom, the sleepless nights.
Well, it's just kind of like, yes, the sleepless nights. Ooh, sleep deprivation is definitely the worst part. For sure. 100% the worst. In the beginning, at least. That does get better. For me, it took a whole year. Because you were not a sleeper. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
You didn't plan ahead. That's what it means, I'm guessing.
No, I didn't plan ahead.
Plan B.
I've said this before. I kind of take life one day at a time.
I think that's your flaw.
You think so?
Yes. Because the person who thinks all the way to the end is going to be more prepared. And make the better choice now.
I think those people have control issues. They want to be in control. You cannot plan ahead because there is a 50-50 chance, like, every day that you're going to end up dead. Whether an aneurysm while you sleep or you get hit by a car on your way to work. The chance of living another day is 50-50 every day. Mm-hmm. It's a coin toss. So I don't know. So I told you the way I grew up too. I lived in a constantly changing environment. So it was like I went where I was told by the U.S. government for my entire childhood.
What does that have to do with my childhood?
What has to do with nothing. I'm saying that's how I made choices. That's how I learned to make choices, was not long term. Because things can change within a second. So, and I let go of control. In the very beginning, I was a control freak. Ask anyone. Especially right when after I had you, I was like, okay, we have to be on a routine. We got to do this. We got to do that. And I, in hindsight, wish I had never done that. I wish I had just listened to you as a baby and followed your cues more. And I think things would have gone better. But I was being told by my sister-in-law mostly, it's just how you do it. And she doesn't know. She had just had a baby too. I don't know why I thought I should listen to her. But yeah, I made some mistakes early on as a parent that hurt me, and I hopefully didn't hurt you because you don't remember it, but who knows. But I mean, as far as like trying to get on a schedule, trying to control everything from what you ate to what you like. Don't let him look at the TV. Don't let, like this kind of overly controlling things. And I have moved in the opposite direction, Wyatt. I don't do that anymore. I had authoritarian parents who controlled everything, and there was no asking why. You just did what I said because I said to do it. So I, with you guys, have released a lot of control. Do you feel like you live in an environment where I control everything you do? You might, because you don't know anything different, but I'm telling you, I don't. It's just kind of like, I want you to have the freedom to become who you're going to become.
Okay.
And that's who I am. It's my personality. Maybe I won't be successful, Wyatt. Maybe I will completely crash and burn in life at some point because of my failure to plan. But we do plan. I just don't plan very specific things. I don't like wake up in the morning, make you guys food and say, you must eat this food, You must go here, you must do that, you must talk this way, you must act that way.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about planning things long term in the future.
I've done that. Financially speaking, we've done that.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's all you can do. I'm not telling you what to do with your life, am I? Have I said after high school, you have to go to college or you have to do this? No, I'm leaving it up to you. If you need help along the way, I'll help you.
Okay.
That's just who I am. You gonna edit out this dead space? You're not even gonna use this anyways. How many podcasts have I done with you? Probably like 5 or 6.
They're all practice because they're not interesting. I'm not gonna.
They're not interesting?
No one wants to hear about you.
Fine. Why are we interviewing me then?
Just to practice talking. What?
Can I go ride my bike now?
No. You're on my podcast. It is my time.
I'm not important. Sweet.
Yep.
Alright, I'll stare at my phone then. Like every other teenager.
Wrong. I'm not staring at my phone.
I need tissue. Do you have tissue?
No.
Your coach typed, no practice, Tofay. Instead of D, he hit F. Tofay.
So tell me exactly, what was it like for raising kids as toddlers? How is it?
I think I've blocked some of that out. Because for you guys, I had three under 3. So, and you were all in diapers for a while there. It was tough, and you guys are you're very different than your brothers. I don't know. You need to ask me more specific questions than that, because I'd be afraid to say the wrong thing. But yeah, you had you were kind of a rigid. You had a rigid personality as a toddler.
What was your favorite thing to do with your kids?
I like going to the park. But some of the most fun we ever had was playing out in the mud out back. Painting, finger painting, Play-Doh. You guys love that. But playing in the mud. So basically, you guys learned to do it on your own. But I started you off. But you would be just like in your undies. And we'd turn the hose on and make mud, and y'all would go take all your plastic toys and stuff out there, dinosaurs, etc., and you would be playing that mud, covered in mud, for probably an hour, if not more, sometimes 2. And then as you got a little bit more advanced, so I'd say you were closer to 4, and your brothers were like 2, almost 3, I'd be asleep in my bed. And usually you guys would wake me up in the morning. But you got to this point where you didn't want to wake Mom up. So you would go make your own mud first thing in the morning. And I remember one time you guys were in your... You know those PJs with the feet? Those fleece pajamas? You were in your pajamas with the feet in the mud. Having the best time ever.
Why'd you let us go in the pajamas?
I was asleep, and you guys got up in the morning and went outside and did it, and I had no clue that you'd gotten up to do it. You used to do things like that where you would, you know, cuties, those little mandarins?
Yeah, what about them?
They're not oranges. They're not meant for making juice out of. So, but you guys would eat them when you were little. Mom and Dad got up in the morning, and you guys were in the kitchen, and you had juiced. You were so proud of yourself, and you had gotten your brothers to help you. You had juiced an entire 5-pound bag of mandarins, and you were so like so proud of yourself. You had made juice, and like, oh my god! And it was all over the kitchen tables, all over the floor. Not to mention all that stuff was ruined. But you guys thought you were making juice. You're go-getters first thing in the morning. But yeah, occasionally you wouldn't. Most of the time, you guys would always like wake me up. But on occasion, you would just go do your own thing. And that was something you did, not once, but multiple times. The whole juice thing, and then the mud thing.
What exactly is your most vivid memory from back then?
Oh, I have so many.
If you remember most vivid, that's most impactful.
I don't have one. I can't just come up with one.
Just anyone off the top of your head.
Well, toddler years for you guys were in Chula Vista, and then school. You started school when we moved. Basically, when we moved to El Centro. So I have to think back to when we were in Chula Vista. I mean, you were pretty quick to learn how to ride a bike. So that was pretty cool. I remember you. I mean, to be fair, we had you on something with wheels from the time you were old enough to walk. And you loved wheels. So that was probably part of it. But you're a very coordinated kid. Very, very coordinated. So you learned to ride a bike all on your own without training wheels by the time you were 3. That doesn't mean you were the brightest, because you ended up breaking your leg when you were 3 as well. But you could ride a bike before you were fully potty trained. That was you. Partially because you had no fear. I remember when you were little, and I say little, like learning, couldn't walk yet, that you kept trying to walk, like you were in a hurry to move. And your Aunt Angie, we were living, like, I had your sister, my sister was a roommate of ours in La Mesa. This is before your brothers. I was pregnant with them. And she bought you, we have a picture with you on, she bought you this helmet that you would wear to protect your head, because, like, you know, there's always this thing as a parent, like when your kid has like big old, like a bruise on their head or something, people are like, oh, you're beating your child, you know, you're an abusive parent. But you're doing it to yourself, because you would try and go from crawling to walking without, like, no fear. And you would slam your head into the ground and then get up and do it again. And you'd have this big old bruise on your head. So Aunt Angie was like, we need to make sure he doesn't get bruises. So she bought a helmet for you. And later on, she bought, when I had your brothers, she bought me another helmet. But they were way more cautious than you. So it wasn't even an issue. They did things like kind of proper, like in their own time, versus you were always in a hurry to move, to get up and go. I mean, there's more examples. Obviously, you tried climbing on the counter by yourself when you were 3. That's how you broke your leg. Yeah, just a go-getter. But you were obsessed with trains. That was your thing. Trains, and then later Legos. But trains were the big deal, like Thomas the Train. You would spend hours playing. We had a huge wooden railway set, and you'd spend hours building this city with all your trains. And then your brothers wanted to come play with you, but they were destructive, and you would get so angry with them. So you guys played together. You wanted to play with them. Wow, that's loud. But you were a little bit impatient with them, which is totally normal. But you did try and hurt them a few times.
Nice.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, maybe.
You remember trying to strangle Weston with
I remember fighting him.
Yeah?
In the living room.
Uh-huh.
Various times.
Mm-hmm. WrestleMania. I told you I have pictures of you putting your brother in a headlock. Nice. When he was a baby. Nice. You were a toddler, choking him out.
I still do it to this day.
I know. So that was
Except
difficult.
I know jiu-jitsu, so it's better.
You know, you only did jiu-jitsu for a few months.
I'm still a pro at it.
You're pro? Really? What belt do you have?
I'll put you in an arm bar right now.
I don't disagree.
Stripe,
you know more than I do, that's for sure.
1 stripe white belt.
I would do jiu-jitsu, but it's expensive.
You're too fat, you're too lazy.
I'm too fat and too lazy. I don't want to do it.
I don't care. You know, there's
Why do you have to put me down?
There's something that.
What is the point of putting someone down? Does that encourage someone by putting them down?
Yes.
Am I fat?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. That's how men get them encourage each other. So they roast each other, and that encourages them. People call Stuart fat, and now he lost weight and is no longer fat.